Hello dear students, again we are going to continue, that is previous topic of your class 7th, that is in science, heat, right? As we already learned, heat, it is a form of energy, as we know already, right? This heat, this energy, when it flows from one point to another point, that is called transfer of heat, right? Transfer of heat means moving heat from one point to another point. It may be through material medium or without any material medium. If it moves that energy, we call that as what? Transfer of heat, right? That transfer of heat we are going to learn here. How does it take place in different materials? Say for example, first if you take in solids, how does the heat travel? How does it move through the solids? It moves through a process called conduction. Okay. Then what is conduction? Conduction is, it is the process or method of transfer of heat in solids. How? From hotter end to the colder end. Right. Say if I take one activity here, it becomes very much easy for you to understand now. Let us see here now. Here one stand it is. This stand, to the stand one rod is fixed here, iron rod, right? On the rod what we have made is, here we have placed drops of wax. Okay, here drops of wax, this is 1 2 3 4, like that we have kept. If you heat this end, what happens as the time goes, this drop first it falls, right? Next, as the time goes, next second drop also comes down. Next, similarly third, last, fourth one. Means what? When we started heating, only this end was hot, right? Now this heat, it is moving from this hotter end towards the colder end. This end was cold in the beginning, right? Now it is moving from this hotter end to the colder end. What? Heat. Heat, it is moving from hotter end to colder end. In what? In solids. That is why we call this type of transfer of heat in solids as conduction. Conduction means what? It is the process of transfer of heat in solids from hotter end to the colder end, we can say. That is what we can call conduction, right? Conduction, where does it take place? In solids, remember. Next, coming to here, some examples if you take here for conduction. On the in the kitchen you might have seen any spoon, if it is kept in sambar, if you try to hold its the other end, it will be very much hot. Though even one end is in the sambar, the outer end, which is out of that vessel, even if it is out, it will be very much hot. Because of what? From that one end to the other end, heat is continuously being transferred there. It is flowing, right? That is why it will be very much hot. It is difficult to hold. And if you have kept anything, any glass, otherwise one cup or plate, you try to heat it on the gas. If you are holding that the edge of that plate, you are heating the other end, you cannot hold it any longer, because from that end to your hand it is transferring continuously heat, right? So that is why it is difficult to hold them. So we can say that here, what we can say, in solids heat is being transferred from hotter end to the colder end. These are examples. So many examples we can take like that. Next is the coming to convection. What is convection then? Convection, it is also the process of transfer of heat in liquids or gases. How does it take place in liquids or gases? One activity we need to take here, which is already mentioned in the textbook. What is that here? This is tripod stand. On the tripod stand, wire gas we say for this means one nut it is, okay, of metal. And on this wire gas, we are placing a round bottom flask or flat bottom flask you can keep there. Round bottom it is better, okay, in order to understand. A round bottom flask when it is placed, here water has to be taken till here, right? After taking water, slowly with the help of long forceps, take a piece of potassium permanganate. Potassium permanganate means just like a salt particles like that it is there, but This is like a purple color. It is very much, it looks like black pieces there. If you take one piece and place it at the bottom, next this is called Bunsen burner. Bunsen burner means it is connected with the gas, LPG gas or any other fuels. When that means gas has to be supplied. When gas comes through this, you light that Bunsen burner so that it starts heating that. Okay, this round bottom flask, when it starts get heating, that time till here water is there. We had placed potassium permanganate one or two pieces down, right? Potassium permanganate piece, what it looks little dark. It, as it gets heated up along with water, it starts leaving color. Means purple color it comes full. Entire water changes to purple color after some time. But before, how that color spreads, you have to see. That is very much interesting. As you go on heating, as these particles near this hot surface, they receive the heat and they start moving up. When they move, they take the color and move up, so that we can clearly see the color is moving in upward direction. Means potassium permanganate is not spreading everywhere, just it is moving in upward direction, right? Then if it moves, what happens? Here the other particles which are cold, they are coming and taking place. Means taking place of those which are rising above there. Means they will come and occupy this place now. Again, these also will receive the heat, gets color, and they move what in upward direction. This cycle continues. Means cold ones come to this surface, receive the heat, goes up there, right? This cycle continuously takes place. This type of this process of transfer of heat in solids, in liquids, this process of transfer of heat in liquids or in gases, in both the types of medium it takes place, right? We call this as convection. Convection means it's already written here, right? What is that? Here, the particles near the hot surface, they receive the heat and they rise up there, they move in upward direction. And the cold ones, they come and occupy that place and they too receive the heat and they move in upward direction, right? Remember, this process of transfer of heat, it continuously takes place. This is like cyclically it will be taking place. So this type of this process of transfer of heat in liquids or gases is called what? Convection. Remember. Okay. Now, this cycle continues till where? Till entire liquid gets heated up. Okay. It is not stopping at any time. Till entire liquid, it has to receive the same amount of heat. Till there it will be continuously taking place. Remember. This is just about convection. How convection takes place. So we can say that in liquids or gases, the transfer of heat, it takes place through what? The method called convection. Next, coming to radiation. What is radiation here? Radiation means it is a process of transfer of heat in absence of a medium. Means if there is no any medium, then also heat transfers. If you say water is there, through that transfers. If the solid is there, through that it transfers. If gases are there, through that also it transfers. Even if there is no any medium, then also heat transfers. That energy, it transfers from one place to another place. We call this type of transfer of heat in absence of medium, without having any medium, we call it as what? Radiation. Example, from the sunlight we are receiving. Along with that sunlight, we are also receiving heat. Means heat of the sun we are receiving, right? But is there any air or liquid in between? No, there is no space. Means there is no any medium. Only there is space. Only surrounding the earth, whatever the atmosphere is there, only there we can find the medium. It may be air, liquid, solid, whatever it is. Once if you leave this earth and go, we find only space. Space means there is nothing in that. Okay, full vacant place. In that no medium, anything. Then also heat is transferred from sun to the earth. That type of transfer of heat, we call it as what? Radiation. Without any medium. That is radiation, remember. Next, two more points we need to learn here. That is conductors and insulators. Conductors, it is related with conductors and insulators, it is related with conduction here. Then conductors, what are conductors? They are the materials, means the materials which allow the heat to pass through them. They are called conductors. Okay. Say for example, if you take any iron rod, if this is iron rod, if you heat one end, it transfers heat from here to here, right? We call this as a conductor because it is allowing the heat to pass through it. If it is iron, I am saying, but what I am holding, this is pencil, right? If it transfers the heat through its material, then we can call it as conductor. Similarly, if you take iron, copper, it may be gold, it may be silver, it may be aluminum, it may be all these materials, they transfer the heat very well through them. Okay? That is why they are used for different purposes. Next, coming to insulators. Insulators means what? They are the materials. They do not allow the heat to pass through themselves. For example, rubber you take, plastic you take, glass you take, air, okay, wood. All these materials, they do not allow the heat to pass through them. For example, pencil is made of what? Plywood. If you remove the graphite, it is just like a wood powder, it is, right? If you heat one end, it does not pass the heat from one end to other end. Here starts burning maximum, right? So we can say that this is an insulator, right? Even glass, if you take the glass and heat the one end, the other end will not get heated up. Rubber you take, heat one end, the other end will not get heated up, right? So this means these types of materials, they are called what? Insulators. They do not allow heat to pass through themselves, right? So these are insulators. Remember, conductors, insulators. Okay. So how to remember? First, conduction, that is transfer of heat in solids from hotter end to the colder end. Conductors means that is conduction. Conduction, it takes place in solids. Okay, these solids, they are classified into what? Conductors and insulators. And even you can say here, and the conductors and insulators in solids also we can say, in liquids also we can say, in gases also we can say here. Say for example, if you take these conductors, in solids also conductors are there. Okay, in solids also insulators are there. What we have already mentioned here, examples. If you take the same, if you extend it to liquids, in liquids also we find some of the conductors, we find some of the liquids, they are insulators. For example, water, pure water is insulator. It is not a conductor, if I say, because it will not allow the heat to pass through it if it is pure water, right? If you, for example, if you take one, in one beaker or test tube, you take one ice cube. Okay, if you heat, if the water is pure, means it should not have any minerals inside. If the minerals are there, salts are there in that, then it starts conducting heat. Remember. Okay, if it is not having any minerals inside, if it is pure water, it does not allow the heat to pass through it. It is insulator again, even in liquid, right? Yes. If you mix some salts, it becomes conductor. In the same way, coming to gases also. Gases, usually they are bad conductors of what? Heat. They do not allow the heat to pass through them, usually. But after a certain extent, they cannot resist anymore. That is transfer of heat. It will be transferred. Just like global warming, what it is taking place. Okay. Nowadays, what is happening in global warming? Every year there is, in point degree Celsius, there is rise in temperature. Because of that rise in temperature, means all the gases which are already surrounding the earth, they trap the sun's heat inside, and they do get heated up. They do not allow the heat to escape back to the space. So as a result, earth is getting every year, means temperature is rising for some extent there. Because of this, what happens in polar region? Ice melts. When it melts, it adds to the seas and oceans. As a result, here tsunamis and all we find, right? So this is happening because of global warming. And here entirely we are just talking about heat, how it takes, means how it is transferred, how it is held, how it is stored. That we are talking about. Just remember, out of curiosity, it is just. This is all about what? Convection. what we said, and radiation also. uh, okay, here gases over, liquids over, solids over, conductors and insulators. And in radiation also I said that already, from the sun what heat we are receiving, that is remaining back because of these gases which cover that. They are behaving like glass plate here. They are not allowing the heat to go back. They are bad conductors. Usually gases are bad conductors of heat. Okay, remember. So we can say air is bad conductor of heat. And in the next video, we are going to learn land breeze, sea breeze, next black bodies and white bodies, that is white objects and black objects, how they are absorbing heat, that we are going to learn in the next video. Okay, you refer and go through that.